This is the crucible of reinvention, the place of profound loss, where the old self has died, but a new one has not yet been. It's terrifying. It's also the story of Chrysalis. Cocoon is a dark place. As poetic as Chrysalis may sound, it's lonely, it's isolated. Yet it is where the caterpillar becomes the butterfly, the liminal space, the space between. Keep that going for Ty and for Nick. Let's go. I need these. Yeah, here we go. We would not be here and have had this experience if it wasn't for you pouring into the world, Ty.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Nick keeping us on time. I'm going to say good evening. It's been a gift and an honor to get to know you over this weekend. Over the next hour, we're going to go on a journey. We will go on a journey of the exploration of self. We've been on this journey on some level all weekend, but this is going to bring everything together that we've dived into, that we thought about, you've contemplated. Now, as your guide along this journey, I will share from my own personal experiences, and I will lace in lessons, dare I say, wisdom, as one who's been down the dark alleys and around the corner that some of you will venture down as your life moves forward. I offer my story, my testimony for you to contemplate, to see yourself in, and to find your own story. As the arc of the hero's journey is one that we will all traverse. From that initial moment that we are beckoned by the herald, to the time the threshold guardian says, "Ye shall not pass," to that day that we face our own Goliath, the giant down by the river. And then we return back to our village as the sage to share with our loved ones all of the lessons that we've learned when we were once a timid Frodo Baggins or a reluctant Katniss Everdeen. So please, journey with me as we imagine the next chapter of our lives. And what we've handed out to you is all of the materials from my first product. This is not a Fred Boy Gumroad $6 course. No, this is a legitimate leadership development program that I sold into financial institutions, to banks, to credit unions, to the State Society of CPAs. I delivered to small businesses. Now, this is either a 3-month course or it's a series of all-day intensives. We're not going to do the work here. This is a gift to you. What you're going to find is that everything we've talked about over 2 weeks is addressed here in these handouts. I'll refer to them as I go, but the idea is that on your flight home next week, as you go through your notes, as you're thinking about this experience, you can put them into context. This is a framework. Now, the cover page is entitled Chosen Leader. Chosen Leader. It's important for me to share with you my philosophy of leadership. John Maxwell, a great mind in leadership, would say, if you think you're leading but no one is following, you're just taking a walk. There are people that say we have to lead ourselves, and I'm like, I don't understand that. I'm going to follow myself. I'm like this. So I think the idea of leadership, well, let's say it this way. Leadership is a verb. Do we know this? Okay, leadership is a verb. Do you know that a verb is both an action and an occurrence? So we think of leadership often in the context of the action. I'm going to lead. Leadership is my choice. I choose to lead. But that's not it. Leadership is the occurrence. And leadership occurs only in that moment when a person of free will chooses to follow another. Anything other than that is not leadership. It's coercion, manipulation, dictatorship, it's force. So on my invitation, I'm inviting, please follow my lead on this journey. Who's with me? Yeah. All right, to frame our journey, I've got 3 questions for you. Who are you going to be 5 years from now? Who are you today? You see, we all have a story. It's a narrative of who we are, and it feels solid. It feels permanent. It's who I am. But life has a way of introducing plot twists, doesn't it? Some of those we write ourselves, and some of them, well, they're written for us. Today, right now, this moment, this 1 hour journey, this weekend, it's not about small adjustments. It's about reinvention. The fundamental rebuilding of a life, of a career, of a purpose. Now that often starts when the life we had is suddenly gone. Hi, I'm Nick, and this is my life. This is the life that I imagined. It's the life I always dreamed of, the life I wanted. Everything that is valuable to me, everything that is important to me is pictured here. Beginning with those 3 tall candlesticks, hand-carved wood next to it is a beautiful face. The fireplace, let me explain. From left to right, Eliana, our youngest daughter, by my side, my one, my queen, my ride or die, my best friend, my partner, my wife, Ariana. Our oldest daughter, Abigail, our youngest son, Finn, and in the back, our oldest boy, Christian. Now, I had a good friend of mine say to me, he goes, Nick, if I died, I want to come back as one of your kids. The life that we imagine for our children is happening. Now, I'm a humble man, but I don't believe in false humility. I think it's okay to celebrate success. So I'm going to share with you my story. I'm going to show you some receipts. This isn't a flex. It's just real. Okay? So we took our 4 kids, our 4.5 kids. Our daughter's boyfriend is half kid, right? And my mother, we chartered a 70-foot yacht with a crew of 2, and we spent a whole week in the islands. That was 2 weeks ago. Ellie went on a sailing trip in the British Virgin Islands. Christian just got back from Japan. Abigail just got back from Spain. Finn was all summer at a summer camp. He's not quite old enough to go international on his own yet, but it's coming. It's coming. Ariana, just today, just this morning, as we were sitting poolside, it's like, this is the life I've always wanted. We live a life that is fully integrated. We don't use the word balance. There is no balance. There's no trade-off. It's all integrated. I'm an entrepreneur. She's an entrepreneur. We have projects together. We're building our family office. We have private equity investments, early stage angel investments. We're building a real estate portfolio. We just bought a commercial building, I guess 3 weeks ago. We're under contract on a development project. This is the life that I imagined. In fact, standing here today, holding a microphone, speaking to you, telling my story, this is the life that I imagined. Saying to Ty when he says, hey, you want to come to Vegas and do this thing? Like, yep, I'm there. This is the life that I imagined. But it's not always the life that I have lived. This is 2004. This is me standing in front of a branch of Bank of America that I was responsible to open. It's new construction. And you can see here by my smile and my physique that I was very much a fat and happy banker. This was the life. I started my banking career when I was 17 years old. I was promoted quickly. I was an assistant manager when I was 19. I was a branch manager when I was 21. I was always top of the stack rankings, right? And Ariana will ask me, she's like, why were you ever a banker? So a lot of people don't think banking is sexy, right? I mean, I'm looking at Warren when I say sexy. A lot of people don't think that banking is sexy. And I gotta let you know, banking and sex actually have a lot in common. As I'm told, with banking and with sex, an early withdrawal often results in a loss of interest. I will be here long. So you've kind of seen the after. I gave you a glimpse at the before and after. The untitled chapter of our lives begins when the page turns. This chapter is over. This chapter is about to start. The page is turning. At the height, or should I say the breadth, of the before. So this is 2013. I showed you 2004, this is 2013. Here again, I'm living the life of the fat and happy bank. This is a beautiful life right here, by all accounts, by all means, right? Got the house, the cars, the boat, the kids, the vacations, the 401k, like all the stuff, right? And I'm actually, that's fit. That's fit. I'm standing on the beach, a private beach in Coronado, San Diego. On Christmas Day, we had been at Disneyland, Christmas Eve, the happiest place in the world, on the happiest time of the year. We went down to San Diego, and this night, we roasted chestnuts on an open fire on the beach on Christmas. Like, this is the life. And I've got my beverage of choice in hand and a red Solo cup. Like, come on, this is living. 10 years later again. Now, that's a genuine smile. This is me about 6 days before I crashed on Tom's couch. I'm on a 5-day hike through the Appalachians in the best physical shape of my life. I think because we were halfway through, our body fat percentage was probably 12.5%. I was stronger than I'd ever been, physically, mentally, emotionally. What happened? It's a bit of a blur. If I tell you the story, I can tell it to you with clarity. I'm not sure how much trauma allows me to just tell the story with conviction the way that my mind and my heart want to say. But it was a night just like many other nights. It was a walk that we had taken many times before. She stepped out to avoid a puddle, and in that instant, in that moment, my life was cleaved in two. There was the before, and now there was the after. Reinvention in that moment was not a choice. It was a brutal and unwelcome mandate. Darlene was my first wife. We met at Bank of America. 2 sons. And we lived that life, that normal American teen. 2016, she was dumping. Valentine's Day 2016, when some of you were waking up imagining your love, looking forward to the dinner date, scrolling through Tinder, I was driving to the hospital to say goodbye. There was a before, there was an after, and there is the space between. The after doesn't begin immediately. For me, I told myself that the space between would be 30 days of darkness. I gave myself grace and permission to eat anything, drink everything, smoke about everything that was put in front of me. I didn't give a fuck because it was 30 days. I was broken. My emotional capacity was spent. I could go from 0 to 100 in an instant. This is the crucible of reinvention. The place of profound loss, where the old self has died, but a new one has not yet been. It's terrifying. It's also the story of Chrysalis. Cocoon is a dark place. As poetic as Chrysalis may sound, it's lonely and it's isolated. Yet it is where the caterpillar becomes the butterfly, the liminal space, the space between. And here's the question. Can we extend Chrysalis, control the after? Be aware of that moment when you are in Chrysalis, when you are in the space between, control the after. That next chapter is not written for you, it's written by you. The space of change is not without challenge, heartache, sacrifice, loss, struggle, whatever the hell else the enemy. I fought hard. I made bad choices, and I stuck with them. I shit the proverbial bed, and I wouldn't admit it. I just dug the hole deeper. It wasn't until I learned to bend with the wind while protecting my roots that I was able to face adversity, adapt, and overcome. Today, I will say to you, I never lose. I either win or I learn. Now, you can give credit to Nelson Mandela or Conor McGregor, depending on. In the darkness of Chrysalis, the ghosts of the past show up. Father took his own life when I was 10. And now, in my time of Chrysalis, I found myself standing at the edge of a cliff. In the middle of the night, I was crushed by the weight of unyielding pain, asking myself the question that I had feared since the day I learned of his death. Is this my moment? Am I him? Is my fate destined to this? Now, just as those thoughts were present in my mind, another thought came in that wasn't mine. I said, no way, you're not that fucking crazy. This was the first of many important choices that I would make. It was the choice to live. So this was 2018. Ariana and I had not even met. I was on a vacation in Hawaii. In the middle of the night, one of my inside parts went bad. And I was doubled over, sweating, crying, doing other things that are unmentionable. Death. And it didn't go away. So I called an ambulance. The ambulance came, and I left my children in the condo, and I walked to the ambulance, sat in the parking lot, and was taken to the hospital alone. And as I'm in the ambulance on my way to the hospital, the kids are back home. Not me. I'm the only one they have left. This can't be me. In the ER, the doctor comes in and he's like, yeah, we gotta take that out. I'm like, the fuck you are? I'm not having surgery right now. My kids don't even know I'm gone. I'm gonna get a second opinion, doc. So they're like, okay. Shot me up with morphine, sent me home with some Percocets. Eventually, the symptoms went away. Eventually, I got the bad part removed. But that next night, as the darkness of night set in, I was restless, I was stir crazy. Forget the stir, I was crazy. I walked out to get some fresh air, just kept walking. It was probably 2, but I'm just gonna say an hour. However long it takes to walk a mile, it's probably 3 miles, but I'll just say 2. I walked 2 miles. Down streets, down stuff. Somehow I took a right down like a trail in the woods, in the middle of the night. Crazy. Opens up, there's this little grassy knoll, and there they are. I can hear the waves crashing, and I'm up high. I'm like, is this it? It wasn't right away, so that was 2018. But fast forward to 2019. I had made the choice to live in 2018, but that was not enough. I had to choose to rebuild, and that started with a phone call to Zach, and I said 3 words. I need help, man. When you're talking to Zach, humble man is not a word. I need help. See, asking for help is not weakness. It's a sign of future strength. It's vulnerability, which is necessary for human connection. Reinvention is not a solo endeavor. For those of you who have never seen this quote, you're welcome. For those of you who have, here's your reminder. That one call to Zach was the first piece of scaffolding. This is when I'll invite you to turn to those materials that we've provided, because what I did next is prescribed in Module 5, growing relationship. And I'll tell you, it started on the Twitter superhighway. I met random people. Adam lived like a mile away from me, and I met him on Twitter. And then he started coming over to my home gym. We would sport all the merch from all the guys we were following. I was spending more time with my kids. I joined a men's ministry. We went out to the mountains of Colorado, take off our shirts, beat drums, burn sage, howl at the moon. We go do that deep work. Met some more random guys from Twitter. The hiking dude, Brandon over in Eastern Washington, D5 Candy from back in the day. We went hiking in the summer. We went hiking through snow. Met another random guy from Twitter. We hiked the Appalachians, Joey Devlin. Then I crashed at Tom's house, a random guy from Twitter that I met through Tyler. Sure, theme going on here, right? Spent more time with my kids. Spent time in the Word. Met some random guy on Twitter, went halfway around the world, climbed a mountain in Swaziland, Africa. Then I climbed a mountain right here in the backyard. This guy right there. This new group of friends that I had, they were intentional. They were living the lives that I wanted to live. They were supporting me through the things that I wanted to go through, to see how beautiful she is in this white dress right here. But here's the thing. That was August of 2020 when Ariana and I met for the first time. She said, hi, I'm Ariana, told me about her life, told me about her girls. And the short story is I said, Ariana, it's been wonderful to talk to you. Like, have a nice life. And I left. I said, I told you I was crazy. What is wrong with this guy? Why didn't he ask for my phone number? I knew that I was in chrysalis. I knew that I wasn't ready. I couldn't bring my broken self into her life. Now, a year and a half later, different story. Once you've chosen to rebuild, you're going to need a new blueprint. You see, an intentional life has no mistakes. This is lesson 99 in my first book. I brought a few copies. Not enough. Sorry, Tina. But it starts with the foundation. Malcolm X said it. My boy Nate said it again. A man who stands for nothing will fall for it. This is the first, most critical step, defining your core values and your identity. And this is module 1 in your handout. For me, it meant getting clear on what it meant to be a man, a father, a leader. Security, steadfastness, competence, patience, and grit. If we were doing this work in workshop, there's an activity. And I would tell you all to pull out your cell phones and type the following words. How would you describe me at my best? And then right now in this moment, you would send that text message to 5 people that you admire, that know you well, or 10 people, or 20. And if you say, Nick, I don't know that 5 people that I admire and respect and know me that well. Okay, we're going to go back to module 5, building relationships. But the people in your life are going to tell you how you show up at your best. Some of you have heard me say this. It's really hard to read the label from the inside of the pickle jar. But when you ask those people that love you and know you, describe me at my best, they're going to tell you who you are. And the young poet, Marshall Mathers, would say, I am whatever they say I am. If I wasn't, then why would they say I am? You understand your core values. You understand how the world sees you when you are at your best, and your identity begins to get clear. Now, I am really clear on my values: love, strength, justice, joy. What are your core values? How do you show up in the world? When you understand these things, your identity begins to clarify. Your core values, those things that you would always say no to, those things that you would always say yes to. I told you, love, strength, justice, play. You can ask Ariana. She sees me live this out every day. And with that solid foundation, you can design the structure. What is the purpose of this new life that you're building? Your handout has a framework for this in Module 6. It's called A Worthy Purpose. This work will help you turn your experiences and even your setbacks into a mission. My purpose was beginning to get clearer, to guide my sons into manhood, to build a life of value on values. But ultimately, that blueprint included Ariana, Abigail, and Eliana, along with Christian and Finn. That blueprint included my company, One Core. And my decision to pursue Ariana, Abigail, and Eliana was one that I deliberated on, and I sought counsel from this new group of friends, many of whom are in this room. None of them were in my life 5 years prior. But a blueprint is just paper without action. Reinvention happens in those daily choices. It's in the discipline. How do you spend your time? Does it align with your values? I'm not the first person to say, show me your calendar and your bank statement, and I'll tell you what you value. Module 4, sustainable discipline. It includes a time audit. This can be brutal, yet it's necessary. And I've done this work with a lot of people. And I'll tell them, go ahead and try to give me system. Go ahead and say, I'm going to do my time audit on Wednesday when I know I'm getting up and I'm reading my Bible and I'm going to love on my wife and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to exercise and I'm going to do 12 hours of work. I'm going to send out 50, like, bullshit. Like, even on your best day, just audit your time and you'll reflect back. So for me, this meant transforming my health, my spiritual practice, my presence with my kids. Now, reinvention is going to require new skills. You must become a student again. Module 3, pursuing mastery, framed in the start with the end in mind. What skills do you need to become that person that you envision? What are you willing to give up for your goal? For me, it meant giving up old habits, narratives that no longer serve me. Viral speech of Matthew McConaughey echoes in my ears. Who is it that you admire? Me, 10 years, that future version of self. In order to do this, I had to make time to prepare for a time when there is no time. In that moment of sudden loss, I had no time to prepare. I have time today. I said I'm a humble person, but it's not false humility. Some people will say, I don't have everything figured out. I actually do. I have everything figured out to live the life that I'm living right now. Because I'm living the life that I'm living right now. I don't have everything figured out to live the life that I want to live. I don't know how to be a grandparent. I don't know how to be the CEO of a $100 million company yet. I don't know how to care for my mother. I can make time to prepare for that time when there is no time. I can become a student. I can develop mastery. Your reinvention will not just be internal. Your reinvention will impact your family, your friends, your team, your community, and how you show up in the world matters. You must learn to communicate with clarity, to hold yourself and others accountable. This is the focus of Module 2. This is the practical application of your new identity in relationships. Without clean and clear agreements, accountability cannot exist. Accountability is one of these words, these managerial buzzwords that just pisses me off. It's like micromanagement. I'm not going there today, but accountability we're going to get into. What does it mean to hold someone accountable? It doesn't actually mean that I can make Warren do something. That's not holding somebody accountable. What's the purpose responsibility, but one of his responsibilities is the trash. So I can tell him, hey son, take out the trash. Have I delegated? No, I haven't. I've just assigned a task. I've said, do this thing. So no, I'm going to be really clear with you. We're going to make an agreement, and there's going to be a delegation. Now, I'll share with you my definition of delegation. Delegation is the assignment of authority and responsibility in that specific order. The assignment of authority and responsibility in that order. So what does that mean? Think of political delegates. We all cast our ballots, but we're giving a delegate our authority to go cast the actual ballot. In my home state of Washington, we have rogue delegates when Hillary Clinton ran for president. Delegates in Washington didn't vote for Hillary, even though the citizens of the state did. Their authority was transferred. Delegation is the assignment of authority and responsibility. So fifth, I'm going to delegate to you the trash. So you're responsible for it. Assignment, clear agreement. See some heads head and then some heads nodding yes. I'm going to say no, it's not. When does the trash go out? Where does it go? How does it go? A really clear agreement is that the trash and the recycle will never exceed 75% capacity because your mother does not touch trash. She's not going to go to the trash bin and push it down so she can put her stuff in. So, taking the trash out means no more than 75% capacity. Now, I don't care whether you do it on Tuesday or Wednesday or 2 p.m. or 9 a.m. You have that authority. But we have a really clear expectation of what success looks like. Easy example. I'm really clear. Does that mean he's going to do it every time? No. But in holding him accountable, I can just ask the question, hey buddy, what was our agreement? What was that thing that you said you were going to do? Are you in integrity with your agreement? Yes or no? If the answer is no, what choice did you make that puts you out of integrity with that agreement? And it's a 100% chance that it was video game. Okay, so what choice are you going to make differently next time? And that is the act of holding someone accountable. It's making a clear agreement and inviting that person in to agree, and then asking them, are you in integrity with that agreement? Okay, for a little fun, I want you to let your eyes gaze on this image. What are you seeing? You ever heard the one about the guy who told everyone he was going to go climb a mountain, but he never did? Because he got all the dopamine and the satisfaction when people would say, oh my gosh, that's so great, good for you. That he got himself filled up just from that. See, vision without action is just hallucination. Don't be fooled by having a vision alone. You must take action. So what does the after look like? It's not a finish line. It's a way of living. It's creating new rites of passage. I took our eldest son on a 22-mile one-day hike through the Enchantments Trail, up Asgard Pass. We were down there, and that's 5 miles up from being down there. I wish I had Harrison's little pointer. We went from there to there. 5,000 feet of elevation gain in the first 5 miles, and then a 17-mile walk out down 6,000 feet. This was his rite of passage. To get to this point, we trained, which meant we took a walk in the neighborhood, and then we went on a flat trail, and then we went up a 2-mile trail, and we went up a 6-mile trail, and we went up an 8-mile trail. We trained, and we trained, and we trained. And it was in the last 2 miles when the sun was down, mosquitoes were out. It was bad. We were out of water. I mean, I had a water filter, but you go down to the water, and it's like there's 1,000 mosquitoes, and I'm like, I'm going to sacrifice myself for the sun. It's like, there's good. And we're like shuffling our feet. This is all we can do. Legs are cramping, toes are cramping. He says, I can't go anywhere. I can't do it. I can't do it. So we did some breath work. He said, all right, son, here's what you're going to do. You're going to focus everything you have just on your breath. You can control your breath. Your body is a machine. It will respond. You can't control the cramps in your legs. Just focus on your breath. In, out, in, out. Anytime there is a sacrifice, there is a struggle, there is resistance in the world, I can just point back to him and say, remember that time when we did that thing? For me, it was the most ordinary of places that I had an extraordinary experience. Years of rebuilding, brick by brick by brick, there was this moment of release. Things that had tormented me for as long as I can remember were gone. This is the gift of true reinvention. See, it's not about patching the old you. It's about actually becoming new. It's not about being fixed. It's about being transformed. So I'll ask you, where do you need to go to find silence. You need to go someplace with high ceilings,
Birds flying high,
open skies.
you know how I feel. Sun in the sky,
Where can you find
you
peace?
know how I feel. Breeze drifting over, and you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.
Your catalyst for reinvention may not be a tragedy. It might just be a quiet whisper. It could be a deep dissatisfaction, a burning desire, a longing for more. Listen to it. Use the framework in the course material that I've shared with you. Start with your values, define your purpose, build your discipline. You can be the author of your next chapter. It's currently untitled. What are you going to write? You ready for this? So I'm going to leave you with this. The credit, it belongs to you. The men and the women that have chosen to be in this room, to enter the arena, whose faces are marked with dust and sweat and blood, who have strived valiantly, who, at their worst, if you fail, at least you have failed dearly. Hey, let's get up! Let's get up! Who's ready? My friends, I'm Nick Anderson. This has been a joy and an honor. Thank you, brother.
Man, I'm going to start it off and just say thank you so much, man. That was awesome. I'm super fired up. I just want to say before I even ask the question, we probably all know people in this room, and I'm not going to name drop, that I know have gone through Nick's work, and this course he gave you is not a 6-hour ebook, as he said. I know guys that are running high-level companies that pay thousands of dollars to go through the very work that he just gave you for free. Please don't waste it. That's an amazing gift, and we should all say thank you again, man. I would like to just talk about, man, I've been sucking in my life. I've shared that a little bit. I remember just feeling so low and so stuck. And that choice that you make, man, to not be a victim, but to get in the arena. Somebody here today, they're saying, I'm just stuck. I don't know the next step forward. What do you say to that person?
I imagine myself at 11 o'clock at night mowing a 10-acre field with a non-electric push mower. And you've heard this 1,000-yard stare. When your eyelids get heavy, your jaw kind of tightens up, right? But it's not like, it's just like a resolve. It's a quiet resolve. But I'm going to finish this thing one step at a time. And it's hard. And I've been at it all day. I'm dehydrated and I'm cramping. And I just, one line at a time. One line at a time. Simple and cliche to say it's just that next step. Sahil said, action is infinitely more productive than inaction. Even if it's just a half thing, a quarter thing. So I feel stuck, I don't know, daily. The only way out is through. And it is that, a full step starts with a half step. A half step starts with picking your foot up. So do the thing.
You don't have to answer this, but how was that telling your boys that they just lost their football tournament? How did that go?
Oh, it's easy. I make light of the situations because that's how I cope with really heavy shit. On some level, I given myself a narrative that there's nobody in the world better than me to lead my boys through something that I have been through. Because when I was 10 years old, my mother told me that your dad's home. I delivered the news factually. It was a clean and clear statement. And then I proceeded to do 9 out of 10 because I didn't actually get the mask on my face when I needed the oxygen. I went right back to work too soon. I didn't pay enough attention to them. I mean, by the grace of God, Ariana has brought family, brought love. And one of the things that I can see as evidence to that is that my relationship is restored. I joke about the candlesticks and the home. Like, we live in a beautiful home. And I don't mean just because of the square footage and the views and the cars in the garage. Those things are beautiful. But we have a very long dinner table. There are 12 chairs at that table. And every Friday night, we observe Shabbat. And our kids are there, my in-laws are there, my mother is there. There's an empty chair where my father sat until October of last year. Ariana's brother and his wife. And every week we gather together. And this is the beauty of our home. And our kids, they dominate the conversation. I can speak teenager. Right? Low key, I shake the fire. I thought for sure I was going to fumble if I did. Right? But you did a rage wave, so good. The moment of telling the boys that their mother was gone was difficult as you can imagine. The moments after were handled as best I could. I made the decisions, the best decisions, the best information that I had at the time. And I'm just so thankful to God. It's not stepdad, it's stepmom, it's mom and dad. So that photograph, that is a barbecue joint kind of in the neighborhood. And that was during COVID, so we were all eating outside. We were both having brisket, I think it was. Delicious brisket. And, I left, and that was it. Well, the same friend who had the birthday party there, he was hosting a Super Bowl party at the same spot. And he invited me, just like solo. And so I'm inside, I'm in the restaurant, and Ariana walks in. Now, by this time, I'd been around the world, howled at the moon, worked a bunch of saves, beat the drums, and I knew exactly who I was. So when she walked in, I knew exactly who she was. And I said, hello. We engaged in really healthy conversation and had a very traditional courting, as in, like, we didn't date. We spent time together. We played pickleball. We had a coffee here and there. I invited her to dinner. She said, yeah, I think I can do that. And so one of my favorite restaurants is Carmine's in Bellevue. She goes, oh, no, darling. I know people there. Can you take me somewhere dark? Because I had this big beard, and I was always wearing tank tops. She's like, I don't know about this guy. Like, I don't want to be out in the world. So we went to a really dark restaurant. But okay, so jumping ahead, for her birthday, the boys and the girls met, and here just kind of social. He came up with the idea to go river rafting. And this was a Sunday, we were having dinner, and I said, well, how about Wednesday? She's like, yeah, okay. I'm like, well, we are equally yoked. This is good. So we took all the kids river rafting, had a great day. We're driving home from Eastern Washington, chasing the sunset. We're in an RV that I own, so that was the way we could get all six of us. The kids were in the back, we're singing songs, and I was like, this is the life that I want. This is the life that I had imagined. It was in that moment where I was like, you're going to be mine. And I just went after it.